Are you tired of starting your campaign in a tavern with a brawl?
Well, what's wrong with starting in a tavern?
Do you find your adventure beginning with nothing but another lowly goblin raid?
Well, I mean, if you're level 1, I mean, what else are you going to be fighting?
I bring you tips and advice to expand upon the world of hooks and intros to your campaign.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a nice classic. Like, why do you have to make it sound like it's a bad thing to start that way?
I'm Roland Sly Shadow.
And I'm Anthony Darkson.
And together, we are the Twin Dragons.
Welcome to our channel, where we discuss all things tabletop role-playing games and more.
I think today we should talk about intros and hooks to start a campaign.
Yeah, nothing is as important as how you really connect with your players in that first session to make that excitement come alive.
I mean, nothing's more important than really giving them that grasp and motivation right at the beginning so they get excited.
So, what is a story hook?
A story hook is a narrative event which brings the players into the story, something that kicks off the campaign. It can range from anything like a fight in a tavern, or all the way to the sky is raining blood, that of the dragons, as the party runs for cover, trying to figure out what madness is going on in the sky.
So we're actually going to go ahead and break down what is the foundation of a great story hook.
Well, one of the first things that we can actually bring up is a indirect hook. One that's indirectly connected to the actual main overall plot and story. For example, an indirect hook could be something like a goblin raiding party that's about to raid the villages which you and your party actually reside. But the goblins are not the actual part of the big bads. The goblins are just an effect of the big bads. Let's say, for an example, a horde of orcs created by a evil warlock has raided and taken over the mountain over the village. That has caused the goblins to push down from the mountains into the valley where the village lives. That, you see now, the goblins are an indirect event connected to the main big bad guy, which is the warlock. So think of it from perspective. You know, it's not always good to, like, from a player's having an indirect hook, it actually allows the party to discover who the big bad is. It's not that we don't know it right off the bat, but it also is discovered and it gives us more mystery and more event.
But I think an indirect hook is more of, like, to me, indirect hook to me could be like also something that may not be related.
Well, it's got
indirect to the main plot.
Or then add. Or it's something, but well, then what an example would you give then? Like the story just starts off and that has nothing to do, like an event happens but has nothing to do with the plot of the story.
Sometimes you just get the players excited to join and then it doesn't have to be about the main hook and main plot.
Yeah, I feel like you need to have more.
You can, but you don't, like, it's not a requirement, but does it get them more immersive in what your main plot could be? Yeah. Like, it doesn't have to be.
I think with an indirect, I think it's best that the event that brings the party in actually is a event that is caused by other events which then lead to the big bad versus just some random, oh hey, this just thing happened, has nothing to do with the plot. Yes, it's cool. Yeah, it gets you into the campaign, but there's no attachment whatsoever to the actual main event where the big bad is.
True. Okay, I get that.
I think another example would be maybe that of a murder mystery, right? think about it. Let's say that somebody in the town was murdered, and you were hired to solve this said murder, right? And then it comes to find out that during the investigation of the murder, it starts opening up a bigger mystery on what was actually being involved with the actual individual that actually got murdered, i.e., probably something like a plot against assassination plot against the mayor of this town, where the murder of this individual, let's say a banker, right, which then reveals funds being appropriated inappropriately from one agency or to another agency, which then builds up that grand scheme, that grand plot.
Another great example of a indirect hook could be the players are in the cave. They just finally slain the evil shape-shifting monstrosity that had kidnapped some children from a local village. And in that cave, they found a mysterious obelisk that, there's nothing, that they can determine. It doesn't seem magical. It just has some strange ruins that they cannot determine what it is. So they may leave it for another time.
How about this? Maybe one of the kids, when they were kidnapped, accidentally inadvertently touched one of the ruins on that obelisk, which then creates a chain reaction of events to start to occur. Maybe a dark portal will start to open in the next couple of days. So that's not something that the party was trying to stop, but one adventure turned into a greater adventure. Now, a more direct hook would be an event that captures the players that actually is part of the grander scheme, the greater story. For an example, you have a horde of dragons beginning a war, and your town is caught up in the aftermath of this war. So you, as a group of adventurers, go off to try to fight this threat of this dragon war and make it come to a close, whether you choose one side of the dragons or the other side, as long as you find some way to create the conclusion to stop the war to save your village.
In that example, the larger plot line is already known by the players. So when you bring them into their adventure, they already kind of know what's going on, what's the main conflict, and they can start kicking off the adventure in the way they see fit to combat this conflict or war.
The greater threat. Another thing to think about when you're considering hooks is the scale of the hook. It can be anywhere from something super basic like the adventurers receive a letter from the town mayor asking for his assistance to protect the town from a raid of orcs.
The complexity, or how simple you can scale the hook, could be as complex as they're already in the thick of a war with different sides battling each other, different factions, to as simple as receiving a summons to, take care of an issue.
Another important factor to think about when creating your hooks is the actual player motivation. You may create a hook, something similar to akin to a summons to the king for your assistance, but will that motivate the players? This actually comes down to what you believe is your players' best interests.
I think the best time to have that conversation with your players is during your session 0. Kind of understand what motivates them, what gets them excited, what type of adventures do they like to be on. Are they interested in financial success, or are they just wanting to do the right thing?
Does the summon from the king grant them a magic item, a boon from the king, money as was stated, or maybe just the honor of it to protect the land? For an experienced game master who's actually been running with the same party for a while, that shouldn't be too hard to actually create a good hook and to know the motivations of this party. But it can be difficult for starting off game masters who really hasn't got the feel for his party quite yet, knowing what's going to drive them and what's going to really make them excited and want to actually do this adventure.
So now you have your hook. You're thinking about your plot, how the hook's going to introduce them to the overarching story, if it's indirect, direct. But how do you actually start the session? Do the players even know each other? Are you starting from scratch? Are they getting to learn each other? Or are they coming in as an established adventuring party?
I think that knowing your party, and if the players truly need to introduce themselves again or not, is up to you and the group. Now, if you have a party that's played together for a magnitude of years, then your party can easily just say, hey, we know each other, this is my character, everyone introduces their character, and they know how their characters are going to play off. So let's start this adventure.
Now, if your group is new to each other and you have some new players at the table, starting an adventure where they get to know each other or introduce each other might help build that momentum to not only get to know the characters, but the players themselves.
Some examples of starting off a party that already knows each other is having them as already a mercenary group, probably, where they have gone through many missions together.
For a group that's just getting to know each other or meeting for the first time, maybe they were all individually summoned into the castle. The king has summoned these individual adventurers who are well known across the land, and they're just meeting each other for the first time in the throne room.
Now you establish the hook. You make the decision. You decide that the party's going to be together or are going to come together. Now the event. Starting off the adventure. What will it be? How grand will it be? One of the important things about the event, the thing that actually starts the adventure, is excitement, mystery, intrigue, something that's going to want the party to really get excited for this new campaign.
How you introduce the story will set the tone for your adventurers. That excitement, the mystery, the experience that they can expect down the road as the adventure continues to unfold.
As simple as starting with a great fight, or your party being whisked away to a land unknown. It is something that drives and motivates, brings excitement to this upcoming campaign. So what are some of your most memorable hooks or starts to a campaign?
A good one that I really enjoyed was a mix of a classic scene with some innovative aspects, and it kicked off with being locked in a prison in the Underdark in an illithid camp and having amnesia.
Well, that's interesting.
It definitely created an amazing scene. It allowed us to think through, one, how are we going to escape, while also trying to figure out who we are. And then, once you do escape that prison, you're still in the Underdark. Where do you go from there? So that was a really great start to an adventure.
One of the interesting things about that also is that gives the players, especially those who don't know each other, a way to truly have the players as well as the characters learn about each other, since they're starting from a clean slate.
So what about you? What story hook are you excited about or got to experience?
Well, one of the hooks or starting scenes that I really enjoyed from a game master's perspective was from, I had the party, they were traveling through a woods in a caravan going to an aid camp, and it starts pretty much with an ambush and the leader of that aid camp getting shot in the head right in front of the players. And that's how the campaign started.
So, final thoughts. My advice is don't shy away from the classics. Don't shy away from your adventure begins in an inn, or you awaken in a prison and you lost your memory. Some of these classics can still have a lot of value and can still be fun for your adventures. But don't be scared to be creative. Come up with something new and interesting, something that your party would never have thought of, to really get them excited for the new campaign. So when you think through your hook, either it be easy, simple, or a complex. If it's indirect or direct to the main plot, just make sure your party's going to have a good time. And if they have fun, that's all that matters.
Go ahead, comment down below. Let us know about the various adventures and how they started. What kind of hooks that really got your party going, or events that really made your players excited for the new campaign.
If you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel where we have more content coming soon. And until then, see you next time.
Your party is a caravan guard, and they are traveling to bring goods of a great merchant to the capital city of the land you are in. And on one day, as your party and its wagons move through these woods and a trail before you, a noise comes from this woods, a rustling, more sound than just the normal animals. Your party prepares for what must be a raid against your caravan, and that ends up being children. You see scores of children slowly walking up to the caravan and says, "Oh, this is not a raid. What's going on?" And these children, they're quiet and still as they stare at all the members of the guards. This must be something strange going on here. And then the children begin to sing. And as they sing, the party slowly becomes more tired and drowsy. What is going on? We must stop them from singing. What is this? What's going on? And they start to slowly fall asleep as every member of the party slumbers. And when they awaken, the children are gone. The caravan are gone. You are in a prison of some sort. A prison which you have never seen before, where it is not stone, but crystal, which makes up these walls and bars. What's going on here?
You're on the lightning rail, on the way to this grand city of Shar, where you have business to attend to, new investments, new opportunities. As you look out the window, you see an airship from far away. And you think to yourself, they're probably on their way to the city as well. Because everyone and all of Corvair end up in Shar at one point. But wait, that airship seems to be getting closer to the train. And closer. And then now you can see on the deck of the airship people dressed from head to toe in black, wearing black masks. This doesn't look good. And then all of a sudden, the airship rams into the train, and you see the shadowy figures jumping off the airship right on top of the train, and you can hear their thumping of their boots on the ceiling. You grab your weapon and you slide the compartment door, ready to defend. And you noticed 3 others in that hallway also drawing their weapons and waiting for the attack.
in the Inn of the Last Dragon. You are surrounded by your good friends and former party members as you talk about great times and the previous adventures that you've all gone across. You order from the innkeeper a side of potatoes and mushrooms for the party. And as you guys reminisce and drink ale, the chef brings out plates full of mushrooms and potatoes. You continue to admire the great stories that your friends tell you. And you look down at your plate and you notice a strange sight. The mushrooms are walking around your plate. They are going to the utensils on your table. What are the mushrooms doing? They just picked up the forks and the knives? What are they? They're attacking us? Roll for initiative.